Okay, and I think we are live. Yes, we are. Okay. Hello everyone. This is Project Gladiator live stream for for April 28th of the severe weather coverage. I just posted a forecast. It should be. I think it's either already out or should be out very soon. I did forecast that there is going to be probably more of an increased risk for tornadoes in this area of central Texas. And there is already a tornado warning, so I kind of had to rush this and get this out as quick as possible. This tornado warning is going directly for Temple, Texas. Um, it earlier had very tight rotation on it, but I did see a correlation coefficient drop. Um, if you live in Temple, Texas, please activate your tornado safety plan or any of the areas around Temple, Texas, especially to the northeast, because this is a potentially very rain-wrapped tornado going towards a heavily populated area and could potentially be moving through heavily populated areas already. At least that it already looks like that. You can see the inflow here, the inflow jet here, as well as the hooking around here. If there's going to be a tornado, it's likely going to be in here. It's going to continue that direction directly for Temple, Texas. Again, this is a very dangerous situation because it's moving into heavily populated areas and it's likely to be rain wrapped, and it could potentially be on the ground right now. I did see correlation coefficient drop though, so it could not be. It could also not be. And As for the velocity, earlier it was very tight. It was very tight on the velocities and very strong. Although now it doesn't look as strong, and it seems to be weakening up a little bit more, and the inflow seems to be being cut off more so than it did earlier. But if this continues, the possibly on the route that it is to possibly produce a tornado. This can be a very dangerous situation. This is going directly towards heavily populated areas. If you live in Temple, Texas, please activate your tornado safety plan. Move to the most interior room of your house and away from windows. If you have a basement, go into your basement. If you have a storm cellar, go into your storm cellar. And just if you stay away from windows and exits because they could potentially be blown in by the large hail. Not only the tornado, but another threat, the large hail that's associated with this system. You can see very large hail is likely through these bands along the front here, and not so much over here. There's more of a tornado threat up here, but still a large hail threat, and also potentially a large hail threat for the tornado affected area. But this is, I mean, this could potentially be a very dangerous situation happening here. If you live in Temple, Texas, again, move into the lowest floor of your house, into the most interior room, preferably a closet or a bathroom without any windows. Stay away from windows or any and all access to your house, as they could potentially be blown open by the tornado or the hail. The very large hail. I mean, all this hail is passing through very large areas, or not very large areas, but very populated areas. Very large hail passing through populated areas. And if you have a weather radio, where you can tune into the National Weather Service, take it with you into wherever you're going to hide, so you can get updates from the National Weather Service on this event as this continues into heavily populated areas. And I'll be sure to continue covering this threat as it continues. But this could be again a very dangerous situation possibly happening here. And it could increase the further on it goes. It could continue to try to produce a tornado, but earlier it seemed more likely that it was going to touch down. I mean, the rotation was very strong and tight. It looked like almost as if there was a tornado on the ground, even though I didn't see anything on the correlation coefficient. But this could be a potentially very dangerous situation happening here. like as I said earlier, the potential for this tornado as it moves into Temple, Texas. If it's going to produce a tornado, it's likely to be rain wrapped, very rain wrapped. Embedded tornadoes along this front are expected. They could be possible. They could be likely. As this thing continues, as it continues to continue eastward or move eastward. I mean, embedded tornadoes could be very likely. I mean, if you watch the forecast, you saw that there was large amounts of instability in the atmosphere, allowing for strong updrafts and just overall tornadoes to develop along this front here. Yeah, this could potentially be a very dangerous situation happening here. I mean, yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I mean, there's a strong inflow notch here. A very big hook happening here. You can see the hook in the increased reflectivity here. Increased reflectivity right here along this path, as well as inflow through here and continuing this direction underneath all the rain here. And I mean, this is a very large hook, potentially a very dangerous situation. I mean, if we look at the velocities, you can still see rotation in here. You can see a strong rotation right in here. Potentially very tight rotation too. Um, this could potentially be a very dangerous situation as this continues into heavily populated areas. Correlation coefficient still nothing yet. Again, I didn't really see a correlation coefficient drop whenever there was like a strong correlation coefficient drop. I didn't see that there was a strong correlation coefficient drop whenever the rotation was very tight. Um, yeah. So I mean, the fact that the like rotation is lessening now, that's a good thing because this is moving into very populated areas here. Um, it could potentially pass to the north. I mean, the hook earlier too. The hook earlier was also very prominent. Like there was a very prominent hook along this. If you look at if you saw the thumbnail, this was for the live stream. It was a very strong and prominent hook. Um, I mean, it is getting really close to Temple, Texas. But the good thing is that the inflow looks like it's starting to get cut off here in these areas. It looks like it's starting to close off and potentially slow down the rotation in here because the inflow is getting cut off. And it seems like the fact that the rotation is not as severe anymore, it's a good thing. I don't. The tornado warning. As for the tornado warning, as this moves out of the box, it could be continued. I don't really like how dark the velocities are on Radar Omega. I'm used to Radar Scope. but they make it so dark. It feels kind of hard to tell what apart from like very strong rotation and weak rotation because of how dark the velocities are, how little they change based on strength. Um, but it was very tight earlier. Um, it was very very tight, and I'm glad that it's reducing now because it could have dropped a tornado when it was as tight as it was earlier. Um, but I mean, the tornado warning will likely be extended. At least that's my thought. It could be extended further, but as the rotation continues to weaken, um, it's very broad now. It's very broad. It's not as prominent as it was earlier. And as it continues to weaken, it could potentially, the tornado warning could potentially be lifted here right before it enters Temple. But that's not going to be the only hazard for Temple. Even though the tornado warning it might be removed here in a little bit, there's still the potential for very large hail, a very large hail, or especially in these areas here, in these bright pink areas continuing down. Not so much up in here, but there could be small small hail, potentially pea to penny size or nickel size in these darker areas of reflectivity, and this area here too, very dark reflectivity. As this continues eastward, get it could bring small hail to Temple and potentially damage windshields or vehicles in Temple, and you don't want to be outside when it's raining hailstones. So if you live in Temple, I suggest you still get inside. Or if you're driving right now, which I don't know why you would be driving and watching this live stream, um, but if you're out on the road right now, or if you're just outside in Temple, get inside because this is potentially. I mean, the hail threat is there's still the hail threat, even if the tornado warning might be expired here soon. There's still the hail threat as this continues eastward into Temple. Um, Earlier on Vincent's stream, I saw that he said that he was getting pelted with penny or pea nickel size hail. So um, there's a large hail threat, or not large hail threat, but a there is a large hail threat the further south you go in these again in these larger areas here. Uh, yeah, in these larger areas here, like here through Harker Heights and going into Bertram. If you're in Bertram or just anywhere in front of this front here, you do not want to be out in the open when it's raining hailstones. Um, I mean, uh, yeah. Um, you can still see the inflow here, but in the tornado, uh, potential tornado has moved out of its warning box. It's no longer in its warning box, which seems to me like I mean there's still rotation in here. It's not as bad anymore though. There could be potentially stronger rotation right here. It looks like there's two main areas of rotation in the hook here um, that could potentially continue eastward and maybe continue spin up and bring the potential for a tornado. But I don't really think so because it's been weakening. But like we saw yesterday, that the supercell that continued. It looked like it was about to stop several times actually, and then it just continued. Um, it continued for a very long time with strong, not strong. Well, actually, yes, strong rotation, not very tight rotation, but rotation overall. I mean, the worst we saw was when it was over Waco. Um, but yeah, uh, I'll continue to track this as it goes eastward. But I mean, the hook now has become almost completely parallel with the rest of the front, but there's still strong inflow here and a hook here too. I mean, there's rotation in here. Um, potentially, potentially continue the tornado warning eastward. I don't really think so. I think it might expire over after the next 3 minutes. Rotation is relatively weak now, and pretty broad, weak and broad. It looks like it's on a downward spiral to fizzle out and no longer become as uh, threat as a threat for tornadoes, but there could still potentially be tornadoes. Embedded tornado threat as this continues. Uh, what you're seeing there, what you just saw there on correlation coefficient, let me go back there. This is likely just hail contamination. It's not likely a correlation coefficient drop, but again, what we're watching for the embedded tornado threat is hooks like these, and potentially these if it chooses to continue uh, if it chooses to continue to strengthen along this boundary and have strong inflow go inward, continue inward. I mean, that's not really as bad of a threat right now. I don't think you'll get. I don't think that is likely to get tornado warned. But if it continues to have a strengthening hook, strengthening notch in this frontier, then it will likely continue. It will probably get tornado warned if it has a hook that strengthens, if it has a notch that strengthens. But right now, it's more than likely not going to be tornado warned. Uh, you can still see what looks like a hook here. You can still see what kind of looks like a hook here, and the inflow here, and possibly rotation in there. If we look at the velocities, actually, you can see that is where the main rotation is actually in that hooking pattern here. You can just barely see it with the increased reflectivity. I'll continue to track this as it goes eastward. Okay, as for now, the tornado warning, I was kind of not really paying attention. Um, the tornado warning is now expired. It's no longer there, as I expected. Um, okay, so now, really, there's a hail threat continuing eastward. I'll see if I can maybe find um, any like in any what am I trying to say here? Live cams in any of these cities where the storm is approaching, because I would like to see what it looks like as it approaches. I really wish this was where I was. Actually, I don't wish that this was where I was, because these are strong. You can see strong damaging winds along the boundary, especially in more protruded areas like this. Stronger winds, stronger straight line winds here, as well as strong straight line winds is along the front, and strong straight. I mean, I can hold on. Let me switch to a radar site, a different radar site here. Actually, no, that appears to be the closest. So oh, Okay. Oh, so that's how I toggle radar sites. You can see, wait, so then what is this? Oh, that's a circle. Okay. You can still see, like, his pockets right here. That, let me look at, reflectivity. Yeah, it does look like it's a little bit more protruding, here, than the straight, line here, as well as the protruding area here, with the large hail behind it. It looks like it's starting to move out of Harker Heights, but this is very large hail moving through populated areas here. Yeah, I might be able to find a live cam here. I'll see if I can find one, but I may not be able to. If I do, I'll post it in the announcement server or announcement channel for the Project Gladiator weather forecast Discord server. Looks like I found one, but it's oh wait, never mind. I got to play. It's like just pictures. It's not really like a live cam. It's just pictures from like yesterday and today that kind of form a time lapse. Right now though, it looks like a green hail glow. Um, in a live stream in the live cam that's there right now, or the most recent picture that they got. See if I can find one better one. Alright, that didn't help. I probably won't be able to find it, just like time lapses. They don't seem to be like live actually. Seems like they're all either they might be down. They could potentially be down due to the weather, due to possibly hail damage. Could have damaged the cameras. Because none, I can't find any of them that are actually like truly live. Okay. I'll continue to cover this threat as it continues eastward. Right now, there's not really much of a tornado threat, so that's great. It's more chill, but there is again, potential for very strong and fast damaging winds, especially in protruding areas like that, and the potential for very large hail moving through populated areas like Florence, or about to go into Florence, and wherever this is, Liberty Hill, Horseshoe Bay. I mean, this is very large hail. You don't want to be caught in very large hail. Let's see how large they're saying. Okay, so 70 miles per hour wind gusts as well as half dollar sized hail. Okay, so that's pretty big hail. 60 mile per hour wind gusts as quarter sized hail. So I mean, you don't really want to be caught out in a very large hail like this. It's going to cause damage to potentially vehicles, and even your roofs potentially. Um, as for the hail here, near or moving into Temple as well, it's on top of Temple right now. They're saying 60 miles per hour wind gusts and quarter size hail and trained weather spotters, which are most likely our friends down here. Um, so I will continue to cover the threat, or these threats as it continues. But they got a flash flood warning for this area. In I mean, this seems to be expected. Large amounts of precipitation because it's more thick than these areas. It's a lot more. Oh, why is it continuing to draw whenever I let go? It's not like very thin in a thin line like this. It's more thick. Protrudes more. So I see why there's the flash flood warning here. Large amounts of precipitation is likely for areas around Temple, and as it continues eastward, as well as again large hail along. You can see large hail, very large hail, very heavy reflectivity through through this area, moving through populated areas again. I mean, again, you do not want to be caught outside in very large hail like this. I'm going to be back. I'm going to get something to eat, and I'll continue to cover this threat as it continues eastward. Alright, guys, okay. I'm back. Um, okay, so, what we're looking at is, uh, again, potential for tornadoes to develop in not just like, especially like not just like this potentially. Let's actually look at the velocities for that. There's not really much of anything. There's no road. It doesn't look like there's a lot of. There doesn't look like there's rotation on it. Maybe switch to a different radar site to see better. Um, yeah, it doesn't really look like there's a whole lot of rotation on that. But I'll continue to keep an eye on that just in case. Um, what about up here, though? There could potentially be a notch developing right here. Mm, appears to be a small amount of rotation in there. Uh, it doesn't look to be too severe. It looks to be just a small amount right there. It seems very weak and pretty broad too, but there is a slight amount of rotation there. It looks like they could both. It looks like the possibility of both chasers here that we got, Vincent and I forgot the name of this man, going up to this the potential notch forming here. It looks like they are actually. This could try and develop this notch in particular. I'll keep an eye on this notch, and I will keep an eye on this thing down here too. But let's look at the severe thunderstorms further down the line. So it looks like after it gets past south of Johnson City, it becomes more spotty, isolated, and it kind of just fizzles out towards the end. Uh, but then there is okay. Where's our radar site for this? And then there's like severe thunderstorms down more isolated severe thunderstorms uh, down through the Rio Grande Valley and into parts of Mexico. You see also an outflow boundary line here. It does look like there is an outflow boundary line right here. It could allow for the potential of more severe thunderstorm development along that outflow boundary line there. Um, Again, I'll keep an eye on that too. But if you watch the forecast, you would know that I'm expecting there to be more of a isolated threat. The further north you go, especially like you can see after that line, after between Waco seems to be the border between isolated and embedded threat. You can see that there's more of an isolated threat here, but then also in downtown Dallas, actually, very densely populated areas of downtown Dallas. Not downtown, but just Dallas overall. Densely populated areas of Dallas are are having the potential for large amounts of hail. They're right here. They're saying $half sized hail in very just $half sized hail in Mansfield right now, have heading through densely populated areas of Dallas and southern Dallas right now, and even central Dallas right here. There could potentially be penny to dime sized, not penny, actually, yes, P to dime sized hail in this area here. Actually, no. I think dime size might be a little bit too big. I'm gonna say, actually, no. Dime size is perfect. Like, forget that dimes are like tiny, tiny coins. Um, there could potentially be P to maybe nickel sized tail in this area right here, moving through like central Dallas. Again, you do not want to be caught in a very large hail like this. Um, And if you live in Dallas and you're watching, but there's no one watching right now, uh, the potential for I mean, you don't want to get you don't want to be outside in a hill like this. I suggest getting inside if you're tuning in from Dallas. But again, I'll continue to watch this. I'll continue to track this as it continues eastward. I'm going to switch radar sites back to this one. Okay, the notch that I've been looking at here seems to be coming more embedded here. Doesn't seem that it's protruding all that much out anymore. The notch right here, it doesn't seem to be protruding anymore. But I'll continue to keep an eye in especially areas like that. Just take a peek back down. Take a peek at this notch potentially developing here. Still doesn't look like there's much rotation here, but you can see the notch developing here with inflow and potentially rotation to develop in there. It may be a tiny, teeny bit of rotation actually. But I'll continue to track that too. Without the tornado threat, actually, this is the perfect time to take care of some other stuff that I need to take care of. Right now, I don't really see any actively develop. Why is there a? Okay, whose bright idea at the Microsoft was to make a bar that I can just put on my desktop and just push advertisements for Microsoft Edge, the one browser that like 2 people use. I've actually only seen one person that I know actually use Microsoft Edge as their browser. probably occasionally click back onto Radar Omega to check if there's any tornado warnings or any possible tornado development that I need to be focusing on. But as for now, I'm gonna take care of some stuff that I need to take care of. Hold on, what's this right here? It doesn't look like anything. I occasionally like to look at the 3D view. You can see how there's like a strong like like wall here and then like a slope towards the back. That's cool. Then there's like just noise here, just a bunch of noise. How you can also see like a bunch of the storms all at once. It's also cool to sometimes like view like a tornado's hook. Like just view a tornado's hook. Sometimes, like how there's a notch there. It's kind of cool in 3D. I gotta go take care of something else. I will be back again in a few minutes. I need to really figure out how to like put a thing up whenever I'm gone, letting people know that I'll be back soon. I can work on that later. I can draw a better W than that. Alrighty, okay, we are back. Let's check up on the current situation. And right now, it looks like that potential notch thingy still there. Still no rotation on it though. Still no velocity couplet. Let's look further down. Let's look at that one notch. So no, I can't find it anymore. That's weird. Looks like a tiny mini hook here. Let me change the color back to blue, the blue that we've been using. Yeah, no rotation on that either. Looks like we're doing pretty good so far. Storms still aren't. Looks like storms still aren't developing on the dry line. Not dry line, but outflow boundary here yet. But they could potentially do it later. Later on. Let's look at this actually. This looks like the potential hook with inflow, but I'm on a far away radar site. Let me switch to a better one. Yeah, you can still see a potential hook with potential inflow. Let's look at the velocity. Looks like there might be a little bit of rotation. Looks like there might be a little bit of rotation right in there. It's just a small bit of rotation. Not really too severe. Likely won't be tornado warned. It's very little. Okay, let's look at that notch again. Seems to have a pretty prominent hook here now. And yeah, in also an outflow boundary here. You can see an outflow boundary developing here, and also an outflow boundary in front of the storm here, allowing for the possibility of damaging winds along the outflow boundary. Pretty strong and possibly damaging wind. Pretty strong. Pretty possibility of damaging winds along the outflow boundary here. Possibility for storms to also develop along this outflow boundary, but it looks like it will just be caught back up with the rest of the line here. I don't think it's really going to be able to have the chance to produce more severe weather before it gets undertaken again by the system here. I'll continue to track this notch here that's developing. Yeah, it looks like there's a pretty prominent. I can draw a better arrow. It looks like there's a pretty prominent hook with some pretty prominent inflow here too. Never mind, on the new radar update, it doesn't look as prominent anymore, but you can still see the outflow boundary here too. And it looks like it's continuing to extend down as well. Yeah, still no rotation on the velocities for this notch, and it doesn't look as prominent anymore, but there still looks like inflow and potentially the chance to develop rotation. Let's look at, okay, so something cool actually is I can do, I can make it smooth. I can make the radar smooth instead. What is this? Alright, I'm not gonna deal with that. Let's look at radar. Oh, what is reflectivity glare? Interesting. Alright, I'm going to turn that all the way up just to be safe. Initial point. Okay, track line. Time points. You know what? Let's turn these on. It might give us a better sense of the direction of the wind and where certain storms might head next. Let's see what else you can turn on. Yeah, okay, I want miles per hour. I can change it finally. What is this? Let's see what this does. What is feed settings? Radar Omega. Alright. What is the difference between Alice and House? Okay, never mind. I need a key for that. I'm not going to change the color tables. Not sure what that is. Let's look at this. What is this? It's weather outlooks, data overlay, surface fronts. Oh, we can see fronts now. That's sweet. Okay, so this low pressure system right here, that's fueling a lot of the severe weather down here. It was all the way up here. Oh, whoa, okay. Wow. That scared me, actually. That scared me. I'm gonna turn that off. I'm gonna leave the fronts on though. That could be pretty handy. But I don't want to make the thing like be filled up. Spotter network. Let's see what they have to say. Oh, okay. Just those are the locations of spotters. Let's turn that off. I don't need that. Or active spotters. Spotters are actively working. Actually, hold on. Let's look at something. Let's look at amount of spotters that are working. Okay. So I thought there would be. Okay, yeah, you can definitely see a larger increase of active spotters down through the area of severe weather compared to just spotters everywhere in the United States. Um, Seems like there are more active spotters here, though. Uh, Hold on. I think you can see that. I think he is also. Yeah, he is also being indicated as a spotter. I don't know why. When you can literally just see the chaser there. I don't want to see. I don't want this anymore. At this point, we're kind of just playing around, waiting for uh, stronger risk. This is like the third time I've actually used Radar Omega. Hey, what else can I do? Meters. Detail display? Oh. That's the Z temperature. And dew points. Wind direction. Okay. Wind speed. Visibility. Okay. Marine tools. I don't care about those. Surface fronts. Oh, we already got those on. Weather alerts. Tornado warnings. Yeah. Okay, let's see our watches. There is a tornado watch issued for most of this area here. That is likely due to the large the increased potential that I showed you on the forecast for today, and I suggest you check that out if you're wondering about this, about why this is why there's a watch there. Let's turn that off though. No, I want NOAA. I want Allison House. Tropical. Winter. Let's turn these on actually. I think these will be pretty cool for when I'm doing more severe winter storm. Let's turn off watches though. Storm reports. Tornado. Let's turn those on just in case. Tropical. I'll also turn these on, as well as these, and potentially these. I think these will be handy later. Flood and flash flood. What about, oh, I'll turn on waterspouts too, just so we can get local storm reports based on, like, so we can actually be able to tell if there's something on the ground or not based on local storm spotter reports. Wind damage. You know what? Yeah, let's do these. Let's not turn that on. Let's turn this on though, so we can get a better idea of how much. Actually, no, we don't need that because we can get a good idea of how big the hail is gonna be. You know, we don't need lightning strikes. And let's do it every 30 minutes. Lightning detection, we don't need that. Next route history. Alright, we don't need that. We already checked out spotter and network. What is these though? Dark, fast. I'm gonna slow it down just a little bit because it seems like it goes pretty quickly whenever I'm trying to review it. Counties. Hold the pause animation. Show when towers are on. Yep. Show local time just so I know where, like, yeah. Will it change? No, it's my local time. It's 1 minute off too. That's great. Nah. Show positive information. So zoom controls. Nah, we're not gonna do that. Actually, what are the options? I wonder if they have a... Oh, they got gray? Oh, wow. Ew, I don't really like that. That feels weird. Green. What is green representation and why? Okay, slightly better on the eyes, but I still prefer the dark. Blank white. I still prefer the black. Satellite, actually. Let's see this. Oh, yeah, they do got satellite map. This could potentially be good for showing more more threats. As for the hail threat, it kind of looks like it's kind of decreased. Only place I'm really seeing like strong reflectivity is right here, but that's probably going to be P to a dime size likely. Not really huge amounts of hail, but I could also it could also just be because it's further south. Or inside the storm too, because it's the rain might be affecting the reflectivity. But you can see large amounts of hail, potential for large hail moving into populated areas of, it's probably already moving through, yeah, it is already moving through populated areas. I'm a little bit late to this, of northern Austin. You do not want to, again, you do not want to be caught outside in something like this. This large amount, very large hail, potentially very large hail. I'm guessing nickel to, this is my guess, nickel to possibly ping pong ball sized hail in these increased reflectivity areas. Let's see what they're saying though. Quarter sized hail. Okay. And then also some spots for the potential of large hail in areas like this and this and increased reflectivity down here. As well as the more large potential for larger hail throughout here, especially right here. Again, you do not want to be caught outside in something like this. So I suggest moving indoors if you're tuning in from Austin. This is potentially it could be a dangerous situation if you're outside. You do not want to be pelted out hail, pelted by hail. Hail damage to vehicles is likely. to possibly your windshield. Your windshield could get a few cracks, and it could also damage your hood of your vehicle. It could also do damage to windows and roofs. If you have any pets outside, bring them inside. And anything that could potentially break, like pottery, you might want to bring those inside too, as this moves through northern Austin. Um, I'm gonna try to turn off these thingies. Actually, I don't really like them. They feel like they're just getting in the way. Um, things on this actually. There. Alright. Let's see what else I can do. Basic. What is basic? Oh. What else? Basic blue map. Okay, that's actually pretty nice. I like that. Still prefer the black though. Road network. I think this would be good if you're if you're out storm chasing. You're using radar omega. I think road map would be pretty good. A dark road map, probably just a black road map. Terrain, okay. I want to see like more mountainous areas with this. Okay, interesting. What else? Satellite cities only. It still looks like satellite. It doesn't look like it changed at all. I'm moving back to the dark representation. Okay, let's see how fast it is now. It's slightly better. How do I pause though? Oh, right click. Okay. No. How do I get out of that? I don't. Oh no. What is this? How do I escape? Press every single button, see if it works. Well, that's how I do that. I don't want to be in full screen. How did I enable full screen? What's this? Oh. You can check the intensity of the reflectivity. Can I move it? No, I can't. Can I see the velocity though? So they're saying around the potential for 45 to 60 miles per hour winds. That's what I'm saying, or that's what I'm expecting. What is it? What is this? Okay, I don't know what that is still. This shows multiple views. That's drawing. Nope. What's this? Oh, it just takes a screenshot. The radar. I would really love to no longer be in full screen. That'd be great. It doesn't really matter. At least there's nothing that I really gotta like turn on or turn off right now, so. What are they doing up here? Let's look at the thread up here. Okay. Large isolated hail moving through populated areas of south of south of Dallas. Yeah, south of Dallas. I'm sorry, I'm about to sneeze. South of Dallas, potential for large hail. My guess is potentially based on the how they said $half, or not $half. I think it was nickel. Um, no, it was quarter size tail. Or quarter inch size tail. I'm not really sure. How big was it? Let me check. Oh, there's a golf ball size tail for that. As well as a quarter size tail. Okay. If there, okay, let me switch radars. Let me get an idea of how thick the reflectivity is. Interesting. Okay. Um, if they're saying a golf ball size tail down there and quarter size tail for the increased reflectivity, uh, my guess for this is that it's most likely going to be the potential for um, hail around the size of quarter to nickel size hail, moving through heavily populated areas of west. What is this? Okay, great. You do okay again. It's moving through northern parts of west right now. You do not want to be caught outside in again. You do not want to be caught outside in hail this large. If you live in west and you're tuning in, take everything that can break that's outside indoors like pottery, bringing your pets inside and bring your pets inside. Damage to roofs and vehicles could be likely. Could potentially do damage to your roof or damage your windshield of your vehicle. Maybe put a few cracks in it, and also maybe a few dents in your hood. If you have a garage, move your vehicles into your garage before this can get to you. For this large hail core can get to you. Of course, if it's already over you and you haven't done that already, uh, don't go out and do it right now. You do not want to be pelted with large hailstones like this. So stay indoors if you live in West, and stay away from windows as it could potentially be damaged or even broken by large hailstones like this. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on. I'm going to need a minute really quickly. Alright, guys, we are back. Um, I'll continue to track this as it continues eastward. Okay, so as for the more isolated threat, that's further up north. in Dallas specifically, it looks like the potential for hail is moving out of the more densely populated area, but still going through pretty densely populated areas, and populated areas overall. In area like this hail core, I think moving directly eastward. I can double check that. It's moving northeastward. All this moving northeastward. Yeah, potential for large hail continuing through heavily populated areas, densely populated areas. There's even a Walmart Supercenter here. I don't know why the guys tell us there was also a Walmart Garden Center there, because it's a Walmart. But I mean, this is densely populated areas here, and this hail core is like only if it's pretty close, pretty close. It's going through populated areas right now. This I'm gonna guess that the potential, the size of the hail is likely going to be from pea to dime-sized hail. That's my guess for the size of the hail on that particular hail core. If you live in these areas of low recrossing, Princeton, or maybe even Climax if it continues all that way, I suggest doing the exact same thing I've told people in West and places in along the severe weather line there. Take anything breakable inside, like pottery, or anything, or pots, or anything that you have for decoration that can break inside. And if you're ahead of the storm, move your vehicles inside. If you have a garage, move your vehicles into the garage. Of course, you can't move your vehicles inside if you don't have a garage, but there's the potential for damage to vehicles, and the potential for damage to your roof as well. If you okay, what else? What else? If you have any pets, bring them inside. Injuries to you or your pets could be possible if you're outside and being pelted by hail. You do not want to be outside in while it's raining hailstones. So again, make sure bring everything in that could potentially be breakable inside, and anything that could. And if you have any pets, bring them inside too. Do not leave them outside in large hailstones like this. And if you have a garage, move your vehicle into your garage if you're ahead of the storm. If you're already underneath this hail core, do not go out and take care of your stuff. It's already too late. You do not want to be pelted by hailstones. So, again, the potential for damaging winds could be possible with these storms as they continue eastward. We saw how along this line here, it's the potential. They're saying, or the radar is indicating the potential for maybe the potential for possibly possibly I think 45 to 60 mile per hour winds. You can see ping pong ball sized hail for areas through heavily populated areas. This is this isn't what you want to see on radar. Large hailstones with going through heavily populated areas, very heavy reflectivity. If you live in these areas, do the same thing I just told everyone in West and it's just what am I trying to see here? People here, people that are currently being affected by hailstones in Dallas, northern Dallas. Yeah. I gotta continue working on some other stuff. I'll continue paying attention to the radar. Actually, let's take a look before I do that at what's happening down here. Looks like there could potentially be a notch forming there. Doesn't really look like there's much of anything. That doesn't look like there's much rotation. I can see into Mexico, actually. Let's see what it looks like in Hawaii. I couldn't imagine like having to view radar in like small islands, because everything's gonna be so warped because of how close it is all together. I mean, it's good to view, like, it's good to be able to view like if you have a strong like tropical storm off the coast that's moving inland, you're able to see as it moves closer and closer. That's interesting. They have two radar sites literally right next to each other. And then more here too, like 3 very close to each other in Sydney. So this is not a really good placement of radar sites. You can also see weather for South Korea and Germany. See what's going on in Germany. There's a lot of town names. It's like the further in I go, there's just more and more. Because they got like so many tiny towns everywhere. Then it also looks like they're just naming like every possible like nook and cranny too. Like we got Burin here, and its name I can't pronounce, and Trirul. Like, and they're just like this looks like it's just a single house and then just a single suburb off to the side. Why not just give it a single city name? So many names. Okay, let's go back to the area affected by severe weather. I should be covering. Alright, I'm sorry guys, you're just gonna have to ignore my allergies. I have really bad seasonal allergies. If you remember my forecast where I had terrible allergies that day. Alright, I gotta take care of some stuff. I'll make sure to check back in on their radar every few minutes. Make sure. But right now I gotta take care of some stuff. But I'll be here. I'll just I gotta take care of some stuff on another tab. Okay, that's interesting. And I will be sure to make different scenes that I can toggle for different things when like I'm not currently at my keyboard. You guys may have to deal with the sound of fans running in the background. I know it's loud, but I gotta keep my computer cool. It's getting pretty hot right now because I'm streaming. Also, I've been noticing that my recent videos have been pretty quiet because I've been forgetting to up the volume, so I'll be sure to fix that. The next forecast, hopefully be able to keep that going, not forget. I kind of forgot today because I was trying to get the forecast out quickly. Looks like a potential notch could be developing here. Looks like there could it looks like there could potentially be rotation developing on the system as well. There is a notch developing directly over Huron. Here, notch right here, strong inflow here, as well as the RFD around the back too, allowing for rotation right, right in here. There's rotation right above Huron right now. You see, it's pretty broad right now. It's not very strong. It's pretty broad. Broad rotation right there. This could potentially develop into a larger hazard. Could potentially develop in. It could continue the way it is and possibly get tighter. I'll make sure to continue to track this. Right now, it doesn't. It could. This could potentially be a tornado threat. A developing tornado threat. It's moving east pretty much. Moving pretty much directly east, or a little bit southeast actually. It's moving like, it appears to be moving, this direction, I think. Yeah. Or it could be moving more this direction. I'll continue to track this. This goes eastward. I'll keep my eyes pointed on it. does appear that we did get a new radar update. I will check the velocities again. They seem to be tightening up a little bit more. There's not as much gray in between, but there is still, it still looks pretty broad though. It looks like it could be developing towards potentially a more increased, into potentially a possible tornado threat here. It also seems like there could be more tighter rotation towards the eastern edge of that rotation. This could potentially be a developing tornado hazard. And again, I'll keep my eyes pointed on it. But I'm expecting, you can see very strong damaging winds along this boundary here. Very strong damaging winds. Very strong damaging winds along the front here, especially in the protruded area here. You saw. Let's see how fast they're saying. They're saying like 60, saying like 55, or my guess is 55 to 65 miles per hour winds along this front here, as well as a possible outflow boundary. What looks like it could be an outflow boundary, but there could be. Again, I don't think it's going to develop severe weather along the outflow boundary, because it's just going to be caught back up with the front here. Just it's pushing it along, but strong strong damaging winds along this protruding edge of this front here, and potentially developing tornado hazard here through heading out of Hirani and south of Jack Black, through what could be populated areas. The further east it goes, the more populated it gets. Through northern College Station, or Bryan, not College Station. College Station. That's a weird name to name a city. It's like, you better come here for education. But also, large hail in these like strong damaging winds along this boundary here. If you live anywhere in front of this boundary front, this boundary here, especially in front of this protruding area here, even up to the north here, large hail is expected in there. And even the possibility for smaller hail all along here. If you live anywhere in this area affected by this particular severe thunderstorm warning, you get inside. There's the very damaging winds are on their way. Very strong gusts of winds, and the potential for hail to again, you don't want to be pelted by hail. If you have anything that could possibly blow away in the wind, bring it inside, and like any balls or anything, any things that could potentially be blown away in very strong winds, bring them inside. If you have pets outside, bring them inside, because you don't want your pets or you to be pelted by hailstones, and this could potentially also do damage to vehicles. If you have a vehicle outside and you have a garage, bring it into your garage. If you have anywhere underneath something that you can put your vehicle, bring it underneath an area. If you're already being affected by hail, it's too late now. You can't go back out. You can't go out and get your vehicle inside. And it's just overall, get stuff that can potentially be damaged or blown away by strong damaging winds and hail. Bring them inside, like pottery, or any if you have children that may play outside, if they have like toys that they leave outside, bring them inside. And if you have pets outside, you gotta bring them inside. You do not want to be caught outside in this. Alright, let's check back up on the damaging wind threat here. I've been trying to coincide and do some other things as well as try to live stream. I may stop going live soon, very soon. I mean, the only threat that we're really looking at here is the potential for large hail and very damaging winds, especially in areas that we're areas that we're seeing right here along this protruding edge of the front. Let's check back up on that tornado threat I was talking about earlier. It does seem to have lessened quite a bit, actually. It doesn't look like there. It kind of looks like there could be a small bit of a weak, tight rotation up through there. But other than that, it looks like the rotation overall kind of just faded away. I mean, we can also look at the correlation coefficient, and there's not really much of anything. You can see that there was a little bit of a correlation coefficient drop through the hail core here, but that is not associated with a tornado at all. That is just from hail contamination. So there's definitely not a tornado on the ground, and I don't think right now there will be, and I don't really think there will be continuing on. I have a feeling that the threat for a embedded tornado, especially with that notch in particular, be weakening as we continue. It does look like the huge the bigger threat did come and go, but this front is still capable of producing embedded tornadoes. Although I don't know how likely it is. It doesn't seem, right now, it doesn't really seem like all that likely. If there's going to be an embedded tornado, it's likely going to be towards the northern edge. At least that's what I'm seeing. But there could be the potential for notch tornadoes to develop along this front here. But I may end the live stream soon and get to work on some other stuff for future live streams, because again, right now it doesn't really look like the severe weather. It doesn't look like the tornado potential is all that strong anymore. Although there is a threat again for large hail and damaging winds. I could stay alive for that, but most likely I do have to work on some other stuff though. So I don't know. It's gonna be some like spotty talking in and out here, and some other times just barely talking at all and just silence. So I don't know if those are if you guys really want to listen to that. So I might end the live stream here actually, so I can get to work on some other stuff. If you still want severe weather coverage, I'm gonna give a final say in things before I do end the live stream though. It looks like there's the potential for large hail in large increased reflectivity areas of this system here. And then also right here, it does look like the rotation is still pretty broad, but also looks like it's getting stronger as we go. I may not end the live stream yet actually, because I still need to track this potential tornado threat here. But then there's also the potential for, again, very strong damaging winds along this boundary here. Very, very strong damaging winds, as well as in the increased areas of reflectivity, especially mostly in these areas here, the potential for large hail, and also in the further south you go to, also the potential for embedded hail in parts of the storm, especially down here. Large hail is likely with this part of the storm, and continuing down, but especially right here. And then also increase areas of reflectivity, like possibly right here, and possibly right here too. And then also areas here, increased reflectivity, and here. This is likely to be probably pea-sized hail. This is probably likely to be pea to dime-sized hail. This is also likely to be pea to dime-sized hail. As for down here, though, my estimation is probably is probably uh, probably dime to nickel sized hail. Um, let's go back over here to continue tracking our potential tornado threat as this continues to develop. Does look like the rotation did lessen a little bit though. It doesn't look as strong or big really anymore. I mean, it could be tightening up, but it also just overall just doesn't look as strong anymore. So it looks like this entire area here though could be rotating, but it looks pretty weak and also broad, not really that tight. It's like a tight broad almost. Alright. Probably gonna wait for the next radar update here. Alright, we got the next radar update. Does look like the reflectivity throughout this, the hail potential for this area in the extended part where we're seeing a lot very damaging winds, very strong damaging winds, which are now exceeding potentially even 70 miles per hour. And then as for the velocity here, you can also see the rotation is still there. Doesn't look like it's really as strong anymore though. It looks like it could potentially just be fizzling out. There could be no rotation at all actually, but as for right now, it does look like there is a little bit of rotation here. But it doesn't look all that strong. It looks very broad and very weak, and I don't really think it's going to develop into much. I don't think that there's going to be really much of a tornado threat as as that notch continues. But again, large hail threat still expected for this extended part of the storm here, as well as very damaging winds in mainly this area, potentially even exceeding 70 miles per hour in some parts of the storm. In some parts of this extended area, I would love to be able to see some footage if anyone lives. And Brian is currently about to be hit by. Actually, no, I do not want to see any footage because you do not want to be near any windows that to record this thing. Its potential for large hail could be moving inwards towards your location, and it could potentially damage windows. And you do not want to have glass blasted all over you from hailstones just because I told you to get some footage. You do not want you don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen either. So do not try to record this. Just stay away from windows as this moves into Brian. But I'm most likely going to end the stream here, because I gotta work on some stuff. Um, but there should be other people covering this covering the same severe weather event as I am. Um, but I gotta end the stream here so I can take care of some stuff. Thank you for everyone that did tune in though, and be sure to check out the socials of Project Gladiator and join the Discord. I'm actually gonna post a link there. I'm actually gonna post a link to the server in the chat here in a second. Just give me like 2 seconds to actually get a link. That's where you can get all the updates for any videos I post if I go live, or any time-lapse videos I may make. But there's the Discord, and I will hopefully be back tomorrow with another forecast. Thank you for everyone that tuned in, and be sure to check the socials for Project